about the emotional roller coaster you've just been through over the last couple of days?
It's been up and down, but when you guys ride the wave and try and stay positive. There were some dark times in there, very saddening, but it worked out for the better. I get to fight still. I get to fight a guy that is great, respectful, a complete martial artist, so I'm excited about the prospects of this fight. It's a big deal for me.
How do you feel about it not being for the title, if you like?
The fact that he's doing this on a couple days' notice, he didn't really want to fight 5 rounds, so we make concessions. The chance to fight a guy like Anderson Silva is something you don't pass up. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would ever get to fight him, so I just said, okay, 3 rounds he wants, okay, we'll do 5 rounds, whatever. I really don't care. I just wanted to compete. I've worked very hard to get here, and I'm a firm believer in if you're training for someone that's considered the best, it'll take care of number 2, 3, 4, and everybody down the line. So preparing for Jones has made me ready for Anderson.
Daniel, how did you handle Wednesday night with all of that news? I mean, do you continue with the weight cut at that point? Were you ever mentally checked out that you weren't going to be fighting on Saturday?
No, I didn't check out. It would have been too dangerous. It was too dangerous. Dana and the UFC said, we're going to do our best. And a lot of times they don't get credit for it, but they do. They they try to move mountains for you, and they did. They found a way to make something happen. After I left that press conference, I went directly to the gym and I worked out, and it was tough not knowing what was going on. And, a lot of positive has come, but there were some adverse effects. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. I noticed right after that time, I went in, I worked out like I normally do, didn't lose as much weight. I'm like, man, my body's kind of latching up stress. Everything's going to make it tougher. So I ended up having a little bit tougher weight cut. I wanted to fight at 210, but I didn't know Anderson weighed 198. But when they said no, you buckle down, you get down to the weight class, and you go fight.
The UFC has posted on Embedded your reaction. Have you had a chance to watch that and just take us into that moment? Because it was quite the powerful image to actually see it caught on camera.
I saw it, just real emotion. It was very sad, man, torn apart. The whole thing was weird because when Dana called me, he said, I need to see you. I'm like, well, I got to go train. I said, so can you tell me on the phone? He's like, no, I need to see you. So, and he didn't sound very happy. So when I got there, it took an hour for me to go to the time that he wanted to see me. So I was so worried because I just felt like something just wasn't right. My stomach, I had butterflies and stuff. And then when he told me that, it was heartbreaking. I've trained very hard for this. I've worked long and I've worked tirelessly to try to beat this guy. The only guy that's beat me in my career, so it was very disappointing.
I know there's a lot of animosity between the two of you. Has Jones made any attempt through him and his camp to contact you and talk to you about it and apologize in person?
His apology at his press conference felt heartfelt, and that's enough for me. The guy's going through a ton right now. We can't even imagine what he's feeling at this moment. So, no, he doesn't have to do that. I accept his apology.
Have you sat down with your team and said, okay, now what's our Anderson Silva strategy?
No, we haven't. It was actually making weight, and then today we do that now. Now we go home now and we put our head in the books. The coaches have watched, but the coaches have not watched with me. So we go and we put our head in the books right now. We go and we come up with the plan. But again, if you're preparing for number one, it takes care of everybody else. So another thing that people may not understand is that there are a lot of similarities between Jon and Anderson. So it's not like they gave me a completely different opponent. So I feel good about the fight.
If not to just harp on Jon Jones here, but I mean, this guy could be facing 2 years away. He already largely missed all of 2015. Do you feel if that's the case, that the potential of this incredible talent may never truly be realized, that his true peak, to lose 2 years like that, I mean, it just seems that this is such a critical time in his career?
It is. For anybody, when you're heading into the peak of your career, you want to be doing what you do best. You want to be competing. It's going to be tough for him, but he's still a young man, and maybe on the opposite side of this, he comes back better and more like just more like there's more structure. because something like this happens if there's like not as much structure as you should have surrounding you. So he'll come back older, wiser, and smarter, and it'll make him just even tougher than he is now. But you cannot forget about all the things that he's done leading into this. You know, he's one of the greatest fighters we have ever seen. So the pause button's been hit, but I'm sure he'll be back.
More to the point, can you wait 2 years to fight him again if that's the situation that poses itself?
I don't know. You know, I'm 37 years old. You know, I don't have the luxury of taking time off. You know, my career can't wait for him. My career has to move forward. I've got to continue to build my legacy in the best way that I can. So.
And how will that sit with you if you don't get to avenge that loss?
It would be devastating. You know, I would love for at some point to try and avenge that loss, but if it is not to be, it is not to be. Not everything works out the way that we want it to work out.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
All right, guys.